الطيبين الطاهرين, my dear brothers and sisters and my dear viewers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today is Friday. It is the last Friday of this great month of Ramadan. And as we are bidding farewell to Ramadan, we will be spending our last hours and moment with this great and beautiful month. For almost 1 month, we have been hosted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He has been our great host and we have been His guests. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has been offering His hospitality to all of us. The type of hospitality Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has offered us is unlike any other hospitality. It is not anything materialistic. Anything materialistic, my dear brothers and sisters, may perish and may fade away. But what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has offered us in His hospitality includes rahmah, mercy, and maghfirah, forgiveness, and also acceptance of our a'mal and our deed, and particularly our fasting. We just need to know how important this occasion was, how precious this Ramadan and every Ramadan is. The hadith says, مَنْ لَمْ يُغْفَرْ لَهُ فِي رَمَضَانَ لَمْ يُغْفَرْ لَهُ إِلَى رَمَضَانَ فِي الْقَابِلِ. If you never had the chance to be subject of God's mercy, then your next chance will be next Ramadan. إِلَّا أَنْ يَشْهَدَ عَرَفَةً, unless you attend Hajj and you go to Arafah. My dear brothers and sisters, there is no other month like month of Ramadan in its purity, and it is generosity, and in the golden opportunity it offers for us to basically purify our souls and our mind. And we don't know, my dear brothers and sisters, it could be the last Ramadan in our life. We need to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it not the last one. And we need to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us another Ramadan and another Ramadan and another Ramadan, so we can be subject of God's rahmah and mercy, God's love and affection. My dear brothers and sisters, as I am focusing on my Friday address today, I would like to basically point out to two main subjects. One, it is regarding the Fitra, the Zakat, the mandatory, compulsory Zakat that we have to pay during the Eid by the end of this month. Every Muslim financially capable must pay Fitra, Zakat al-Fitra, which is equivalent to $15. Now, originally, it is in fact 3 kilograms, which is equivalent to 7 pounds, of one of the four following things: rice, 7 pounds of rice, or 7 pounds of raisin, or 7 pounds of wheat, or 7 pounds of date. Any of those four subjects would be fine. So either we pay 7 pounds of those things, categories, to the poor, or what is equivalent of the value. So what is equivalent of the value varies from basically $6, which is the value of the wheat, 7 pounds of wheat, to almost $34, $36, which is the value of the best date available in the market. We're going to take the median, and the median would be $15. That's why we said the Fitra this year is said to be around $15. Each Muslim who is capable, financially capable, must pay Fitra to the poor on his behalf and on behalf of his dependents. So for example, I have my wife and 2 of my children. That means I have to pay on my behalf, on behalf of my wife and the 2 children. So I have to pay on behalf of 4 people. 4 times 15, that's $60 I have to give to the poor. Now, if I have other dependents who are originally not part of my family members, such as a chauffeur who lives in my house, a maid who lives in my house, a servant who lives in my house, and I basically take care of their expenses, I need to pay Fitra on their behalf as well, whether they are Muslims or non-Muslims, whether they are minors or adult, whether they are men or women. I am supposed to pay on their behalf. Any person that I take care of their expenses, be it one of immediate family members of mine, such as my wife or children, or it could be another person, my nephew who happened to be living with me in my house, my niece who is studying abroad and she's staying with me, or my mom whom I'm taking care of in the Middle East, I'm taking care of her expenses, then I need to pay their Fitra as well. Who do we give this Fitra to, my dear brothers and sisters? The Fitra goes to a poor Muslim. The first condition for the recipient is that he is poor. So if he is not poor, then you cannot give it to him. And what we mean by poor doesn't mean that he has to be a beggar, begging people for cash at the light, at the red light. Poor, anybody who cannot afford his yearly expenses along with his family. Say I need $30,000 expenses for myself and for my family members to meet my essential expenditures. I don't make 30,000. I make only 20,000. Technically, in Islam, I'm considered poor. So I am eligible for receiving Fitra. I'm entitled to receive Fitra. So any person who is poor, who cannot meet means and cannot provide or cannot maintain sufficient income for himself and family members, then this person is poor, and then he can receive the Fitra. Number 2, he must be Muslim. The recipient must be Muslim. Having said this, this doesn't mean I'm not allowed to help non-Muslims. I can help non-Muslim poor as well, and I should. But not from my Fitra money. My Fitra money is designated to go to poor Muslims. If I want to help non-Muslim poor, orphans, needy families, I can still do that, but not from my Fitra money. I can give them from my general charity or from my, say, grants or budget I basically designate for the poor, not from the Fitra money. There is another condition for the recipient, my dear brothers and sisters, and that is for the needy, for the recipient to be in my town, in my metropolis. So as long as in my town, in my city, there are poor, I'm not supposed to send my Fitra money. We're talking about Fitra money specifically, not any money. Fitra money, Zakat al-Fitra, should be given to the local Muslim poor. As long as there are local poor in my community, I'm not supposed to send it overseas. Unless I can't find, then I send it overseas. And if you ask me, are there many Muslim poor families in Detroit Metro, in our local community? Absolutely yes. Yes, there are many families. We at the Islamic Institute of America distribute large sums of charity every year to poor families in our community. And there are other local organizations that can forward the charity and the fitra money to Muslim families, such as Zaman International. So I recommend, if you know the poor in our community, you know them personally, please go ahead and give them your fitra. And if you don't know them personally, you can forward to us, to the Islamic Institute of America, or to Zaman International, or any other trustworthy organization, humanitarian organization that you know. And you ask them to forward to poor Muslims. Now, for your information, we will be having the Islamic Institute of America open on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Today, Friday, from 12 to 4 p.m., tomorrow, Saturday, from 12 to 4 p.m. as well. And on Sunday, the day of the Eid, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. So you can drop your fitra in a box designated for fitra at the entrance of the IIA. Or you can go to a link at our website and designated for fitra money, and you can pay online as well. So this is regarding who to pay. Now the question is when to pay, when I'm supposed to pay the fitra. The fitra becomes mandatory the eve of the Eid, meaning on Saturday night. It becomes mandatory. And I have to pay it out on the day of the Eid before the Eid prayer. So I have to pay it. And if I cannot forward it to the poor by the Eid prayer, I can just separate it in a special envelope designated for fitra and then forward it either to the poor or to Islamic Institute of America or to Zaman whenever I have the time. As long as I have segregated the money and I have put it aside, then I am fine. Now, my dear brothers and sisters, this is how it should be handled. However, according to some scholars, such as Sayyid Sistani, he says you can also pay fitra in advance, even before the day of the Eid, such as today, Friday, or tomorrow, Saturday, or Sunday, but no later than Sunday. But if I happen to forget paying my fitra on my behalf and on behalf of my family, then whenever I remember, I need to immediately forward the fitra either to the poor themselves or to an institution, trustworthy institution that can forward it to them. This is regarding the fitra, my dear brothers and sisters. I just need to clarify one point. Someone asked me this question. When you, my dear brothers and sisters, forward your fitra to Islamic Institute of America or to Zaman organization, would we at Islamic Institute take any portion of it? No, not even a cent. Whatever you give, the $15, or it could be less sometimes, whatever you give, we will completely forward that to the poor. We have a special account at Islamic Institute of America that is designated for charity, and everything the community gives will go to that account, and from that account we will disperse to the poor families in our communities. Now, and same with the Zaman organization. They forward the entire amount to the poor. Now, my dear brothers and sisters, another issue that I wanted to address is the Eid. Luckily, this year we will all most likely will have one Eid, inshallah, and that is on Sunday. The reason being is that the moon will be born on Friday, and by Saturday night it will be visible. The moon sighting will be possible in many parts of the planet. Therefore, my dear brothers and sisters, according to all of our scholars, this year, inshallah, we will have Sunday as our own Eid. All Muslims will have one Eid, one unified Eid, and we will celebrate the Eid on Sunday, which is May 24th. Now, regarding Salat al-Eid, my dear brothers and sisters, the Eid prayer is mustahab, is recommended. And we're supposed to basically perform it at the masjid, ideally. Since our mosques, our Islamic centers have been closed due to the restrictions, lockdown restrictions, we will not be able to hold the Eid prayer this year at any of our local mosques. So what do we suggest? This is what we suggest. I myself will be leading Eid prayer online at 9 a.m. Eastern Time on Sunday. For all the brothers and sisters, whether here locally in our community or across the US, they can watch online and they can do their prayer at home. Luckily, Eid prayer doesn't have to be done jama'ah, congregationally. We can perform Eid prayer congregationally or individually. So as you're home, you can just intend your own Eid prayer, and you cannot follow my congregational prayer because there is no physical connection, and therefore you can intend your own Eid prayer and pray it simultaneously with me. So when I do the qunut, you do the qunut. When I go to ruku', you go to ruku'. When I go to sujood, you go to sujood. We begin at the same moment and we end at the same moment as well. Therefore, this is one solution, my dear brothers and sisters, one convenient solution for many of us who cannot, due to the coronavirus, cannot go to any local mosque this year, unfortunately. So, my dear brothers and sisters, I wish you all the best, and I wish you all a happy Eid. Yes, the Eid is coming this year during a very special time where we are under lockdown and we are unable to see one another. One of the beauty of the Eid that we socialize, we gather together and we see one another, we greet one another. This year, unfortunately, we are unable physically to see one another and to greet one another, unfortunately. But we can do this over the ways and venues offered to us by technology, be it our smartphones or be it online, be it on WhatsApp or on Zoom. There are many ways you can connect with your family, with your friends, with your relatives, and you can stay in touch with them. I pray in the end of my khutbah, my dear brothers and sisters, that this year, inshallah, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept and to answer our prayers by putting an end for this virus, vicious virus that has been spreading all over the world, and which has been threatening the world peace and the world health. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to put an end for it immediately. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to dispel this pandemic. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bring peace everywhere on earth, particularly in the Middle East, and most particularly among Muslims. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bring peace and justice everywhere. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us to be the agent of His goodwill by offering a hand of help to those who need our help. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect you all, to bless you all, to keep you all safe and healthy along with your family members. And I hope, inshallah, to see you again on Sunday, this Sunday, 2 days from now, at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, online, while I am delivering the Eid khutbah, inshallah. May Allah bless you, all my dear brothers and sisters. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.